My name is Alexis Lopez, and today I will be discussing Stephen Paul Martin's novel 2020, featured in SDSU's 2023 Living Writers series. 2020 is a collection of short stories set in America that explores many of the relevant topics from the titular year 2020, such as the presidential election and Trump's impeachment, Black Lives Matter and the nationwide response to the death of George Floyd, and, most memorably, the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown. 2020 was a year that most people will never forget because of how many extremely chaotic events occurred and how the world changed, especially due to the worldwide pandemic. How do people make sense of the world and respond to the events in 2020? While most authors would write to seek out answers to life's important questions, Martin decides to convey meaning through embracing the absurd. In one story, a man called Rip Van Winkle kidnaps a carpenter with grand plans of destroying all the doomsday bunkers in the world. In another, partygoers sit around watching a reality show with no script. Another story follows a neurosurgeon whose Uber drivers keep switching out, and all he can think about is what they think about him not wearing a mask. These stories highlight the absurd nature of the world in a year where many people were faced with unforeseen challenges and crises. Martin's novel is critical of topics such as reality television, the inescapability of advertisements, the rich and powerful, and capitalism as a whole. It is most critical of the U.S. president, referred to as Barry Trapp, with a recurring motif of characters wishing for, and him getting, his head bitten off. I'd like to read an excerpt from the story that opens the book, Movie, and how Martin uses the scenario of people waiting in line to see a movie in order to comment on the issue of immigration in America. In the story, a couple is waiting in an endless line to see a movie that no one knows anything about. The line keeps growing longer and longer until U.S. soldiers from what seems like the past come out. A giant woman starts terrorizing the city, heading to the White House to bite the president's head off. At some point, a group of potential moviegoers asks to cut in line, and Martin writes, quote, "I'd like to say yes, but it wouldn't be right. People who got here a long time ago would feel cheated. I think you need to hustle back to the end of the line and wait your turn. But then we might not get to see the film. We left early just like the rest of you, but the traffic was horrible. You guys just got lucky. You were close enough that you didn't need a cab like we did." This may sound familiar. While the actual story pertains to a movie line, the underlying meaning can be applied to the U.S. immigration debate and the controversy surrounding illegal immigrants crossing the Mexico border into the United States, and how it isn't fair to give citizenship to those who have much closer access to the United States than those wanting to immigrate to the U.S. from abroad. When reading closely, readers can find that every story offers a commentary on social and political issues from that year. The novel uses an absurdist narrative, oftentimes extremely nonsensical, in order to highlight just how crazy the world actually is. Thank you for listening.